What's up, guys? It's me, Toby, but it's not me alone. It's the Warhorse Studios release party. So, hello, welcome. Well, it's KCD release party, as a matter of fact. But today, welcome to be with me on the blue carpet, which you can't see right now, but trust me, is there. Believe me. So, I'm here at the release party of Kingdom Come Deliverance II right now. So, while the previews are actually dropping at this exact moment, let me see, it is 5 p.m. Prague time, so I have absolutely no idea at all how the people are reviewing the game, but, well, you have the huge advantage of knowing. So, today I will not show you games, don't worry. Well, you know the game hopefully already. I will actually show you the team behind Kingdom Come Deliverance, the team behind Warhorse Studios. Usually it's my lovely bearded face and also Prokop sometimes, but I want to show you more of the devs of Kingdom Come Deliverance. So I have some interviews prepared. It will be short. It will be many of them. We have a team of 250 people. Don't worry, it's not 250. It's just, I don't know, 10 or so. But we will be roughly streaming until 6:30 Prague time, because at that point I need to go this way, because this is where our release party then starts. And from that point on, sorry guys, I just have to enjoy the party for myself as well. You might be wondering what these boxes are here next to me. Well, you are all KCD pros, so you are not wondering at all, I'm sure. But it's the Kingdom Come Deliverance II Collector's Edition, obviously. It's 3 of them, because we as the studio, we want to do something good, and we decided that we will auction those 3 bad boys here for a good cause. And we decided that we will, once we do the auction, this will happen in a few days on our social media, so take care, don't worry, there will be chances for you to jump in. But the good cause is for the project called Cesta Domu, which means something like Road Home. And these lovely people provide care for terminal ill and dying adults and children in their home environment while supporting their loved ones who care for them. So I think it's a good thing if, things are not looking that good, then at least someone takes care of you. And I think generally it's a good thing knowing that there's someone who, is on your side, as like Henry, right, who has Hans Capon on his side. So the guys who are coming in today will be then signing those wonderful boxes. So I will have all the interviews here doing so, but then don't worry, we'll bring it to the studio and we will have, well, I hope, because we have some home office guys, right? I hope that we at the team can get as many signings, autographs as possible from the entire studio, and then you will have a chance to auction those bad boys and get your handle on those, because as you know, unfortunately, well, it really depends. Unfortunately, fortunately, they are sold out already all around the world. I think maybe there's a few left. So if you're lucky, and don't go to scalpers, never works. Rather go to us and try to do something for the good cause. Okay, guys. So I hope you are ready for the game tomorrow. The game releases in exactly 24 hours. And if you were one of the lucky ones who, because some of the brick and mortar stores they just can't behave. It's terrible. It's terrible. I know. Lucky you, but please, a little advice from us. If possible, if you have the game already, I mean on PlayStation or Xbox, wait until tomorrow. And the reason is super simple. The day 1 patch releases tomorrow at 5 p.m. as well, 5 p.m. Prague time. So if you want to have the game in the best possible quality, absolutely wait until that time. And I recommend to wait so, because you know how it works with consoles. You have to submit the game 3 months, I think, before release, which in our case was somewhere November-ish or so, October-ish, November-ish, December-ish. So since then until release, it was quite some time, and it would be a shame if you couldn't play the game in its best possible way, of course, right? The guys on Steam, don't worry, there's nothing like that, nothing happening for you. You have to wait until we push the button, and then you can start. Okie dokie, let's start with the first person, and I would like to invite Martin Sties, who is our lead programmer at Warhorse Studios. So make some noise, guys. Yay! And I have Martin here with me. Wait a second. And as I said, Martin is our lead programmer. And Martin, since you guys did a tremendous job with performance, everyone in the previews, hopefully also in the reviews, which I can't confirm at the moment, but I think so, will say that it runs like crazy. And 60 frames on console, that's something that we didn't know and expected for the longest time. So tell me, what kind of black magic rituals did you perform to make that happen?
So, black magic rituals, you say? You know, let me tell you something about black magic rituals. They don't work. And believe me, we have tried all of them and they don't work. So, we've even tried to, you know, wait for a full moon and lay out candles in shape of pentagram and burn the Xbox Series S, hoping that it won't reach the market. But you know what it's turned out as. So, and
Microsoft, we do love you, just for the note.
yeah, and then we've realized that, you know, we are gonna have to work hard and put a lot of effort into the game, and yeah, that's about it. So, you know, we had a little bit of bumpy release with Kingdom Come Deliverance I, so I set it to myself as some kind of a mission to, you know, not let that happen again, and ensure that the game runs smoothly as possible. And thanks to the team full of really passionate and hardworking and talented guys, so I think we delivered that.
So what would you say is different between now KCD2 and KCD1? I mean, I think Martin Klima always says that we are on one hand that you either put as many features as you can into a game, or you bug fix as much as possible and make the features that are inside already run as smooth as possible. Now we have both. So many new things and the game running smoothly. How did that happen?
Just, you know, there wasn't just a really one single silver bullet how to handle things. You know, it was a million times a little decision how to make things better and great, and how to achieve the greatness. And you know, we've also managed to put a 60 Hz performance mode into gaming consoles. So I'm really proud of that. And the best thing about the performance mode of the console is that it's almost indistinguishable from the fidelity mode. So it's tremendous effort we've put into the game as a team, and I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, that's true. Digital Foundry just released a video, I think yesterday, where they were testing all the platforms. And tell me, so if someone on a PlayStation Pro, for instance, wants more than the 60 frames, how did that work? Because when we released the requirements sheet, right, there was the Xbox Series S with 30 FPS, I think, then the X with 60, regular PlayStation with 60, and the PS Pro as well with 60. However, there's still an option to get higher with that, right?
Yeah. You just have to have a VRR TV ready, and so you can just unlock it and play as fast as you can, possibly.
That's gay. What would you say is the biggest problem when programming the game? Is there anything where you say, hey, developers, stop it, we can't take more characters or, I don't know, particles, or what's the problem?
I think the biggest problem is the scope of the whole game. You know, the first game was huge, but the second game has to be even bigger. So we have two maps, two really large maps. We have to have a city, fully populated, densely populated city. You know, every model have to have a multiple times number of polygons, and so the scope of the whole game was the biggest issue, and I think we tackled that really well.
Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you for the insight. So I would like to ask you now, choose one of those wonderful pens, a golden or silver, and please sign all three of those boxes, which, as I said, those will then go into an auction, and the money that we will get out of that auction goes directly to the foundation Cesta Domu, and taking care of terminally ill people at home, adults and children, and I think that's a nice thing. So you guys will have a chance. Just check our social medias in the following day. Thank you very much, Martin. Have a great evening. Enjoy the release party. That was lead programmer Martin Sties, and don't worry, there's a few more Martins I'm introducing today, but I thought that, hey, it's usually me, it's usually Prokop or Martin Frivalski or Klima or whatnot, Daniel Vavra. So I just wanted to show you a few more faces. And maybe, just maybe, if you're an OG, you might remember Martin Ziegler, who is with me. Hello, Martin, come in. Martin was the lead scripter at the studio. He changed a little bit right now. Maybe he will tell us about that. But Ziggy, 2016, that was the time when you and me, together, we were traveling the world with the beta version of Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 in our backpack. So, and now we are here, release parting of KCD2. So who would have thought that? What do you think makes KCD different, or what's the new highlight for you? What's your take on KCD?
All right. So the thing that I personally like the most about KCD2, I would say, and KCD in general, is the open world. I really like how the NPCs really feel alive and they feel like they are actually living in the place. I was looking at other games and thinking about what we could improve, and I think that we've made really great advances just from the first game, and all in all, this is something that we really try to be special at. So this means how the NPCs live their lives when you just watch them, when you don't interact with them at all. But what I appreciate the most is how they react when you try to interact with what they're doing, right? When you steal something from them, on when you just bump into them when walking down the road, or when whatever, you just make a noise, or maybe you're smelly, or whatever, you're trying to distract them with pebble. And that's something that was really complex to do, and that was really interesting to do just from game development standpoint, because it is a huge game. We have a very diverse landscape, so there's villages, towns, bandits, just random wanderers. There's some people who are humans and can speak just human. Some people who are living in Bohemia and they speak Czech, and all of that has to be able to interact with each other, not just in the situations that we prepared for the player especially, but in any way that the sandbox can make them interact with each other. Like maybe you find an event and there's a bandit, and obviously this is something that we try to test a lot. But then maybe someone will try to lure these bandits, into a camp of some other bandits, or into a village, or they might encounter another event that's happening nearby. They might encounter a caravan that just happens to pass somewhere near, and all of that has to result in something meaningful and has to behave correctly. And that was very interesting to do, and I really like how it turns out in KCD2.
I think one of the strengths of KCD generally, also first game, now the second game as well, is that you have so many options how to tackle the quests. And that is something that is also part of the scripting department, right? Putting the right bricks together. Would you say that KCD 2 is just offering just more than the first game? I guess the answer is yes, but I mean, how would you describe that?
Yeah. So I would say that it is what we always wanted the first game to be. It's the same idea. It's just that we are now more able and more experienced and have more resources to execute on that concept, because the concept is that you can do whatever you want and the game will react to whatever you think is the most fun way, or the most you way to play this. And that's an incredibly difficult task. So in the first game we tried to demonstrate that this is a cool idea, but obviously since we had to just get everything off the ground in the first place, just get people moving from A to B and so on, we didn't have all that much resources to spend on all of these special cases in each feature or quest. But with the second game, we started already with a lot of these ground rules and mechanics working, and we could focus on all of this, on just content that is able to really allow you to express yourself. So there's all these details, just in terms of voiceover, for example. This is something when I think it is very pronounced when you, for example, steal something, when harass people, they really do have all these different voiceover lines, just saying this is my goat. It's not just like what are you doing, like a general bark that would describe anything. This is my goat, leave my friend be. This is my sister, okay, or my wife died, and they really react in a specific way, and I think that that's really cool.
Okay, thank you very Martin. Thank you very much, Martin. Now, please again sign those wonderful boxes here if you wish. Choose any color you wish. And this was, ladies and gentlemen, Martin Ziegler, who, as I said, was the lead scripter at the studio, is now in the producing team. But he always, as I said, was again, since we are talking about guidance and friends, he's with me with the studio for many, many, many years. Thank you, Martin, for being with me today. Next on the list, because we are talking about technical stuff, and you know, if it wouldn't be technical, if there wouldn't be any bugs, so I would like to ask our next guest now, Josef Pepal-Hotzky. Hello, Josef. He is the QA lead at Warhorse Studios, and in the first game, well, KCD was known for having no bugs at all, right? And now in the second game, it's even better than that. And I would like to ask you, Peppa, what changed, first of all? Because now that the reviews are out, hopefully they are saying that the game runs like crazy from a performance-wise, but also from a bug-fixing pool. So is there anything that changed? And what was your favorite bug so far?
All right, so anything that changed? Well, it's simple. We have started to go ahead with zero bug policy. We have decided that our new game will have 0 bugs, and I think I can tell you right now, it's a responsible thing to tell you that you have my and Toby's guarantee that there are exactly 0 bugs in the game. So you've heard it here first. Absolutely perfect. So that's the biggest change from KCD1, because as you know, KCD1 had a couple bugs. I mean, you know, we fixed them later, but a couple bugs. But we have decided why leave a couple bugs when you can have a 0. So that's it. Wow. And my favorite bug?
0. I'm not sure. Bug-free.
Yeah, exactly. And as for my favorite bug, obviously that's bug during the development, not now because there are 0 bugs. My favorite bug would, some of my favorite bugs would have to stem from the fact that we combine various different systems that can sometimes interact in unexpected ways. So my favorite bug is this thing that happened where in the game there is a scene where Henry can choose to dance with a fair maiden at a wedding, and there's also a feature where if you get too drunk, you pass out. And there are many weird
like
combinations.
In real life.
Yeah, exactly. You know, simulation of real life.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Bohemian life. So in some weird way, these systems can kind of interact. And what we didn't expect is that you can start the dance with a fair maiden and get drunk before that, and then you pass out in the middle of the dance. Henry falls to the ground. The fair maiden thanks him for the good dance because the game has interpreted as everything has successfully failed so far. And then Henry farts and starts swearing while he's getting up, and that's objective succeeded. So that was my favorite bug.
That sounds like a lovely weekend activity in the east of Czech Republic. Hello to Moravia. So can you remember that infamous bug from KCD1, this flying jump dude from what? How did that, like, what's wrong there? Like, and why is that a great feature of KCD1?
Yeah, that's the thing about some sort of specific jankiness of KCD1. Again, KCD1 because KCD2, no jankiness, no bugs, you know the drill, right? But yeah, the jankiness of KCD1 sometimes can kind of conjure up some sort of interesting situations, such as the kick that you have described, where Henry just teleports himself to the enemy from like 10 meters away and gives him a huge kick. You know, those kind of bugs, we see them at QA, of course. You know, we see everything. But at some point, we decide, you know what, this is a really good feature. We're not going to tell anybody about it, and it's going to be perfect in the final game.
What would you say is your favorite thing about KCD2, if you have to narrow it down to something small or just really quickly?
Yeah, if I have to narrow it down, I would say my favorite aspect of KCD is very related to the bug that I was just talking about. It's a combination of systems. So our game has many kind of open-ended systems that create these kind of emergent gameplay situations where you didn't expect something to happen. You just put different things in the game, different states, different quests, and then something combines in a strange combination, and a bug comes out of this, but an amazing feature comes out of this, So you combine open world, crime systems, questing, reputation systems, RPG systems, and we are always surprised about what interesting new situations may come out of this.
Thank you very much, Peppa. Please sign this wonderful box here as well, if you can. All 3 of them. So that's the technical part of Kingdom Come Deliverance II, which, well, Peppa said it, there's no bugs. Well, I don't know. Well, at least there won't be any bug, hopefully, fingers crossed, that won't annoy you. But, of course, the moment everyone gets done with his hangover or her hangover here, we will go back to the PCs and work on DLCs, of course, and on patches and hotfixes if possible. Thank you very much, Peppa. Have a great party and enjoy your time. So, enough technical stuff. I get another microphone. Enough technical stuff. This time, wait, what? Give back. This one? Okay. Trick. That is a pro gamer move, which you would call. So, now we have enough technical stuff. We will now invite someone from the gaming perspective again. My beloved partner in crime, Prokop, who's now not taking care. Hello, Prokop. Take this microphone. Let's hope it works. You know Prokop as my best buddy, laughing about how I suck at combat. But Prokop, I don't. I did a master strike. What? Everyone saw that. You saw. Drunk. And I was not in real life though. But tell me.
That's something to be discussed later.
Community, since we are here now with the community, that is something where we were, the 2 of us especially, were taking a lot of feedback, talking to them as much as we could. How do you feel now knowing that you have fans out there that are eagerly happy that you are here right now?
I still don't believe that. You told me already, but I still don't believe that.
And you don't watch streams, but you became a streamer. How is that possible?
That's not something that comes naturally to me. So I'm just, coasting on your energy and waves.
You tell me now, Prokop, what do you think? Okay, one is the work we do with the community, you and I. There's a lot of feedback that came from KCD1. How much were you able to incorporate that? Because I think generally it is a thing, right? The only people who kind of tell us what to do is us and to some extent the community, correct?
Yeah, definitely. The whole company wouldn't be here without the community. We started as a Kickstarter project, and that's only thanks to you guys that we are actually being here now. And the community was helpful throughout all the developments, even the KCD2. We're listening to, we are watching you guys playing the first game. We did many waves of telemetry with our our best fans actually helped us during the development, and we incorporated as much feedback as we could.
That's great. Is there anything in particular that comes to your mind? Because in my opinion, it's the combat that was most tweaked. But what would you say is your highlight of KCD2 if you have to think of something? Like the one thing you're like, wow.
I really like, honestly, and that's most of my work with my team that did actual work. But I really, that it has
not
to
like
be
marketing,
said.
not doing anything.
No. The narrative designers are the best. Kudos, guys. And I actually really like the quests, the narrative that goes in the game, that every quest is a little different, that it naturally opens up, that guides you to different paths, and you can choose what to do, what to not to do, and there's always something to explore.
That is amazing. In my opinion, as you said, it's the open worldness of the game. Did you see already any review? Because I didn't. Is there anything?
I did. It's just so crazy, guys.
Is it?
Like 10 minutes, 23 minutes before this, review embargo lifted, and I was just religiously scrolling all the reviews, and it's amazing.
Don't tell me.
It's really good.
Is it?
It is.
Okay. I haven't seen it. I swear to God, I have no idea at all what the reviews are so far.
You're gonna be so nervous.
I am nervous. I'm positively nervous. I was positively nervous all the time. But it's like that was the kind of idea we did with giving the review codes early, asking the people to do early previews and so on. So I think that is great and helps again. So Prokop, we are doing a little auction today, or well, not today, but soon. We will auction these bad boys that are going to a foundation called Cestidomo or Cestadomo, who is helping terminally ill people and who have to stay at home and are not doing very well. So That's uncool. We would like you as well to sign those wonderful boxes, and then in a few days on our social media, once everyone is ready, we will auction them away, and then all the money goes to this foundation. So please,
Okay,
Prokop, if you may.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you very much for your time. So that was less technical, more gaming, and after Prokop, we will continue with that. I hope you guys still like it so far. It started to get really crowdy here. Unfortunately, I can't take you later on the release party itself, but it will be great. Thank you very much, Prokop, and goodbye. Okay, next on my list is Lenka. So Lenka, if you would take this microphone close to your mouth, if you can.
Hello, everyone.
Lenka is our animation lead. They're starting to do interviews all over the place here. It's our animations lead, but Lenka, you came relatively late to the team, and yet still grew to become the lead of the department really quick. So I would like to ask you, do you see any? So because many people on the previews, I don't know the reviews. On the previews, they were praising the animations generally, that the combat looks nicer, that the general animations look nicer. So what's different? What's new? What's there for the people to experience?
Well, okay, sorry. What's new? I think what people will notice the first is the level of polish is much higher. We added few more things, but I think the biggest change is definitely combat. We reworked all the animations, or 99% of the animations, and it's actually, I think, between 20 to 25% of all male animations we have are to combat, so that was definitely one of the biggest chunk of the work that we worked hard on.
Pepe Hotsky said there's 0 bugs in Kingdom Come Deliverance II. Clip that, and I will put this to the QA department later. But I agree with what you say with the animations and the combat animations, because I think the combat plays much more fluent than it did before. It was cool before, but it was kind of clunky, and now all the people are saying that it feels better, it feels faster, and the reason is that you have way more animations, correct? So how did you do these in the mocap, and with who did you do that, and how does a regular day of animating look like at Warhorse?
I think we also paid a lot of attention to testing all the time. We've been playing the combat all the time. We've been evaluating how does it feel, what's the fluency to it, for everything, for cameras to blend into one each other perfectly. And it's not perfect, but we tried our best to make it as fluent, as smooth as possible for everyone to enjoy the real medieval fight.
Come on. You're way too humble. It is amazing. It's amazing. It's fluent and just runs like butter. It's crazy.
Oh, I'm really happy. I hope everyone will have a really fun time playing it. And when it comes to mocap, a lot of the combat stuff vast majority were recorded by real professionals, people who spend a lot of time practicing medieval swordplay. But also we had sometimes on a mock-up, actually our design director, Viktor Bocan, he recorded several things.
The old man was grabbing a sword. I hope he didn't hear me now.
Yeah. I wish I could mock up things, but I only did few small animations. Like if you see people hugging, that's me. Hi.
There's, as far as I know, there's three categories of people we are mock-upping, right? There's one, the actors themselves, then there's the stuntmen from the combat, but we are also mock-upping ourselves something. So did you have a mock-up suit, or did you have any of your team wearing mock-up suits? And what kind of animations do we do ourselves?
So the actors are usually hired for cutscenes. Pepe will probably tell you more about it. We also use some local actors when we want to get really professional movement, when we really need it, yeah. And we implement people from our team, whether when it's, for example, something very technical in combat, like with Victor, or when it's something easier, then we can just play around and we don't need that actor input. Usually some technical animations, like some transitions or...
But we do everything in-house, right? Do we do animals as well?
Yes. Animals are not mock-up. It would be fun to see dogs and cows on a mock-up, but we keyframe. We hand animated everything, so it took a lot of time for us to get it working. But I hope people will enjoy it. pay attention to the pigs. They are incredibly cute.
The pigs that are never running away. Thank you very much, Lenka. Lenka
you're
Michalkova,
welcome.
everyone. And now, please, Lenka, if you can, please sign those 3 boxes.
Yes, my pleasure. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Choose any color you wish, and then those will then be auctioned away. If you are lucky, you can, and if you are willing to help, then you can do that, and all the money goes to is there for a good cause. So, Lenka, our animation lead. And as I said, the cool thing at Warhorse is that you, as a newcomer, if you come to the studio, it's absolutely possible to work your way up. We have a very flat hierarchy, which is very nice in the studio. Thank you very much, Lenka. Take care. And now, the maestro himself. I mean, you are hearing the music already in the background, I hope. Now, the man, the myth, the legend, Jan Walter himself.
Hello, Toby.
Hello, Jan.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Please hold the
There is the camera.
mic to your
Oh, yes.
chin. Perfect.
Hi.
Jan Walter, everyone, the wonderful genius, the maestro, who made sure that you guys have the best possible experience on the music side. And dude, if there's one thing we can be sure of, and Daniel said this already about the first game, if the game sucks, we will at least have great music.
Yeah, well,
and I think
the game didn't suck in KCD1. It
Yeah.
definitely doesn't suck this time.
And
It's
from
amazing.
the early previews, the people were absolutely amazed by the not only the sound
yeah.
that is from Wojta and his
Yeah,
team,
yeah, yeah,
but
they were
also of the
amazing too.
music of the game. And I would like to ask you now,
Pleasure.
what are, in your opinion, the biggest difference between the first game and the second game when it comes to music? What did you have to do different than you did in the first game?
Well, you're actually right. I thought about it from the very beginning that I have to do something different. It can be the same because, that wouldn't be fair for the players. We already, from the beginning, said to each other, like, we are making a new game based on good old principles we know, and we all want to make everything better and bigger, etc. And for me, the biggest difference was that, both the story and the main character, Henry, is more mature, more grown up. So I figured, the game is this way, the music has to be this way too. So I had to come up with a bit more complex, slightly more intricate way how to put the music together. But still, of course, I hope it's mostly music which is simply fun to listen to and enjoy the atmosphere and mood which it creates or helps create.
The Santa Barbara theme is something that,
yeah.
I don't know, it wasn't planned per se, it
No.
just happened naturally, but it
yeah.
became something like a hymn or theme or something for KCD2, so how did that happen?
Well, what's the word? Signature track or something? Signature composition or something? Yeah, flagship. Well, you are right, actually. I just wanted to compose some nice piece of music for the St. Barbara Church, which now in Gutenberg is an amazing building, a fantastic heritage, a cultural wonder. But back then in 1403, it was just like something being built, so it was like that high, maybe slightly higher than that, and
That
still
high?
that high, yeah,
Wow.
slightly high. And I still wanted to create something nice which would resemble the future, glory of the building. And then actually you guys, particularly Vitek Mičke, but you as well, as I remember, came up with this idea that this should be at the end of our, release video.
You mean marketing, the ones who never do
Yes.
anything, but then at the end of the year just release a trailer.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody praises them. That's it. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's it. So it's thanks to you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
But hey,
Thanks
when
to you guys.
when you start music, how does it work? You have an empty sheet of paper in front of you, or are you taking inspiration from the first game, or how does it work now in KCD2?
Yeah, well, I'm not working with a sheet of paper, but it's I'm working on a digital sheet of paper, but it's the same. I type in scores, but it's in notation software. Other than that, of course, yes, I took a lot of inspiration. Some of the tracks I use similar or same themes, but these themes are always in a new way, in a new form. I always change them. I always arrange them in a different way. So it's like, when you meet old fellows after years, then you see they have changed, they see you have changed, and you try to find a new way how to work together. So this is what happened with the music from KCD1 in KCD2. But I have to say there is 400 tracks of music. It's over 10 hours of music. And all of these were newly composed. There is just one track from which where I composed, I copied a bit of it from KCD1. One of the 400. Yeah.
And what is a nice news for everyone out there is that we are releasing the official OST tomorrow as well, correct?
It's out already in pre-order if you want. It's on Steam already. It's 42 tracks, 36 is from me, I think, and then there is 6 pop bangers and the kind of stuff from my colleague Adam Sporka. He's very good at these things, and yeah, it's all like 82 carefully selected pieces of music, you know, like 82 minutes, and I think it's the best there is. But you can also wait for the whole 10 hours package of music to be released later this year. So yeah, enjoy.
So music on Steam, and then the vinyl is following as well. Jan,
Yes.
if I may ask you please to sign these
Absolutely.
boxes for me. And again, ladies and gentlemen, this was or is Jan Walter, maestro and composer of the wonderful tunes of Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 and 2, well, and other games, but we will keep him because they want to steal him from us, but this will never happen. We chain him to the computer and he will stay there forever. I just called it. Thank you very much. Take care. Have a great party. Jan Walter, again, music, a very important part, and I think, again, if you take a look on the previews and maybe on the reviews, which I still have no idea what score we have, then hopefully someone mentions Jan Walter as well. And if you guys have a chance to put him to the Game Awards or any other award show, I want to win a prize for Best Music, so I said it again. It's your part to help us there. Okie dokie. Next, we had programmers, we had now some technical stuff. How about we talk about one of the OGs, the real ones, the ones who founded Warhorse Studios. So it's quite a while. Martin Klima, if I may, welcome to the stage. Here's your microphone. Martin Klima, the executive producer at Warhorse Studios and founder of Warhorse Studios, one of the co-founders. And I would like to ask you, because I have questions prepared for everyone, as good as I am. So your story actually began way before 2014, because the people out there know the Kickstarter is kind of that's where everything started, but it was way longer, well, way more time before that. So how did that happen? And did you believe that you could stand here as we are standing today? Like, was that something you had in mind? Like, I want to have this global giga success project, and if so, how did you do that?
Well, that's way too many questions for me to pick. But yeah, of course, I've been in computer games development for a long time. I started in a company called Altar Interactive. We did a great real-time strategy game called Original War, very popular in Poland. And then I did various other jobs, I mean, always related to game development in other companies, and I was working for a spell in Codemasters in Leamington Spa, UK, and when I came back, I was approached by Victor Botsan and Daniel Vavra about the game that they then called Hammerheart, and it was this really great idea of having a fantasy RPG without fantasy. And I was immediately sold on the concept. I really love the idea that you have a game that's really like a historical movie, a game there you are not the chosen one, you are not a dragon boy, you are not somebody special, you are just an ordinary peasant. That seemed really, really good. And to answer the other question, did I set out to become a global mega hit? Well, definitely did.
Of course.
But I wouldn't say so. I am not doing it for a show like this or party. I mean, party is nice, of course, I love it. And if we were better in developing the games, we could have parties like this more often.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I am really all for that. But yeah, I mean, I find satisfaction in having a great team there everybody is contributing their bit, and where everything comes together and we don't waste much time or work, and when the end game is something that players love, that's why I am doing this.
You, as in your role as an executive producer, you also are the one, I'm not saying the killer of dreams, but you are the one who sometimes have to say, okay, that's enough, we need to finish the game now.
Yeah,
And
but that's like more like fulfiller of dreams, isn't it? Like the dream is to have the finished game. Huh? If you keep developing the game, then you never have a finished game. Yeah, so I am quite happy about it. I can walk on the forum and look anybody in the eye and tell it was a right decision.
Absolutely, and I think the previews said the same. So previews are praising the game for its new additions, but also how smoothly everything runs. And I think you said in another interview that we focused much more now on the second part, on the finishing up and making it round and making it nice and making it feel good.
Absolutely, that's very true.
Thank you very much. This was Martin Klima. Martin, if you could please sign all of those boxes, they will be auctioned right after our day. Well, right after. I'm not sure when exactly they will be auctioned. Next week, I think, on this week. We'll let you know on our social media, but they will be auctioned and they will go then to a good cause, Cesty Doma, as I said, Cesty Domu. And you can do something good. Isn't that a great feeling? Everyone likes to do something good, right? And Martin Klima, as I said, was one of the many founders, well, many. Daniel Wawra, him, and Viktor Botsan, the three wise guys putting the studio together. And now today we can be here on the release party. By the way, anyone should tell me what the meta score is, because I absolutely have no clue. I see Daniel Wawra already, Viktor Botsan, all the big guys are already here as well. Thank you very much, Martin. Enjoy the show. Thank you very much. And another one bites the dust, kind of. Now, next on my list is again someone very special to me, someone really nice, really wonderful, and kind of the good spirit of the studio. I wish you would be more in the office. She's always on home office, but hey, Joanna Novak, hello. Hello, Joanna.
Hello, hello.
Our historical researcher or historian from the studio. So the ones complaining, she's the one.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
that's me.
Joanna, but you are, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that KCD is one of the closest entertainment products you can actually play or enjoy or go through if you want to see how the Middle Ages at least could have looked like, right?
Of course.
So how does your work usually looks like, and you're with the team longer than I. You have 11 years as well there, right, in the studio.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
how
exactly.
does your work usually look like? Are you in the beginning when the plans are made out, or are they just coming like, hey, is it okay like this, or how does it work?
Well, to start with, I am definitely like coming in the time when there is already this brainstorming, because I need to combine this all knowledge I have and things I can like somehow enhance to the team that is not maybe so much into the history, but I try to give them some inspiration, some sources that might be, useful for making up the story. And then afterwards, we are building up some, story on elements of our visual world, like accordingly to how the story develops. So my tasks are usually just gathering the sources of the texts and like visual materials and reading all of that and, keeping that in my mind and, give it to someone when needed, explain some things so that they can implement it in the game and have fun with it.
But you're also venturing out to those universities, museums, and
Exactly.
historians and so on. So how does that work? And would you say that we now did more than in KCD1, or was there more time? Or because I imagine that when we described KCD1 to people from the outside world, they didn't know what we are talking about. Hey, we are doing this video game and it's like realistic or whatnot. Now we can tell them, hey, this is what we did, and now this is what we want to do, and just make it better. How does that work?
Well, definitely it's changed a lot since we did the first game, because now people, since they knew that KCD was done so diligently with exploring all of that sources, they started to writing to us directly without us even like coming out with the questions to some specialists or experts. So that was really an enormously huge help from many fans and people who are really professionals. But for example, we didn't know that they could be, so interested in so detailed aspect of medieval time, and they were giving us some tips, some comments, some opinions, some links to the sources we could really use to make our game better. And definitely I'm very thankful for that, because that community of people is really unique, and definitely that helped us to make our game much more fulfilled and completed.
I 100% agree with you. It's really interesting to see how all those different, not only the historians and museums and so on reaching out, but also different companies and institutions in Czech Republic especially trying to contribute something to the game. KCD maybe, just maybe, is more than just a video game and becomes something like a cultural export thing from the Czech Republic. So that's kind of interesting. What would you say is if you have to think now on the game, what's your favorite thing about the game, if you have to narrow it down to something?
Well, definitely I am very proud and I really like our reconstruction of Castle Trotsky because it was really a very challenging task and I spent a lot of time myself going to these institutions and asking people and like trying to figure out the best solution. But also like inventing and being a part of the team who made the clothing because we have very special, unique this clothing system. I have never seen people so engaged in making 3D models of just outfit, but it's so incredibly realistic, and you know, even the people who were working on it, the artists, they were eager to learn how the things were done in medieval times, how were tailored, and that brought a lot of fun and like just good feeling of making to the game.
There's a jester outfit in the game. Try and find it. So, Joanna, please, if you may sign these boxes for me. Thank you very much, Joanna Novak, our historian from the team. And as I said, she's the kind of the backbone, good spirit of the studio. She's with us when the plans are being laid out. Hey, what quest should we do? So 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, when we were on the drawing board about more precise quests and so on, she was there giving the feedback. Joanna, thank you very much and enjoy the show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the one you were waiting for, the one that will steal my show in a few seconds. I can't help it, but the sex appeal rises. Luke Dale, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, sir, that is yours.
Thank you.
And now I can hug you.
Oh.
Luke, thank
How are
you.
you?
I'm living the dream.
Living the dream.
Luke, thank you very much for being with me today. Thank you very much for coming
it's
here.
my pleasure.
I read
Kingdom Coming.
Yeah, absolutely, twice now. I read on your social media because you fucker are more than super active right now, which is a good thing because the people love you out there. They're absolutely crazy.
I don't know if Toby thinks it's a good thing always, but
It's
yeah.
Well, it really depends sometimes, right? But I read on your socials that exactly 9 years ago you successfully failed the audition of becoming Henry.
I did fail.
And now you ended up to become probably the most liked character of the game. So
I'll take what I can get. Do you know, I'll take anything.
No, to your chin.
To my chin?
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now? Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't get Henry, but I did get Hans, which is the consolation prize, but I'll take it.
I mean, you embraced the role.
I did.
Because you even got inked, which we can't see today, but you got inked yesterday, right? Or the day before?
I did. I can't show it you now because it's got a second skin on it.
Ew.
And it's got like congealed blood and ink. But
can someone peel it off then? Is it like
you could, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Ew.
No.
Ew.
No.
No.
But what I do have, because tonight there's a theme of blue and gold, right?
There you go.
That's our branding.
Yeah.
And
oh my god.
gold lining.
Oh.
This is a tailor-made Vietnamese suit, guys. Not.
Yeah, because
messing
Warhorse
around.
is paying greatly for their jobs. So even
Pretty cheap suit, but it's good. It's good quality.
from riches to rags or something like that,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, al dentes.
Luke, al dentes, exactly. Luke, your role as Hans Capon, right?
Yes, yes.
You were in the first game. It was you became quickly Henry's best friend. It was
Correct.
more of a side character. Henry was most of the time alone. Now in KCD2, you are most of the time together. You and Henry. So
Yeah.
how did the character develop, if you think about it, between the first game, the second game, and what's your role now in the second part?
Well, the first game, Hans, he's a supporting character and one that I think people really enjoy as a bit of comic relief. He's an important role, but he's not necessarily someone that Henry needs all the time. But I think as we ride off into the distance in the second game, it becomes quite clear that, okay, this is going to be quite an important part, and he does. And yeah, like I love what you keep saying about how, you know, it's almost like this band of brothers that we have situation. It's like a Ocean's 11 vibe. And yeah, Hans is very much the right-hand man of Henry and vice versa. So look forward to that. If you want to see this ugly mug further, please tune in and play the game.
So the game and the previews already showed that there's quite a lot of swearing and like
Yes.
hard language. Was that weird or was that second nature for you, or how would you describe the script of KCD?
I never fucking swear, so it's no problem for me. No, I mean,
of course not.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is. It's an 18, the game, isn't it? So I actually said in an interview the other day, I got a bit carried away and I was really excited about the historical nature of the game. So I was like, oh, they should have this in schools. Kids should play it. And then I quickly realized it's an 18. And I was like, Oh, Luke,
Well-
you've done it again. What an idiot.
Would you played the first game now or streamed it several times?
I
Have you
have.
played the second game already?
No, not once. I think I did it for about 3 seconds the other night, and I died immediately. But
Oh yeah, when you crashed my stream. Thank you very
I
much
crashed
for
your
that.
stream.
That's absolutely amazing thing. The best thing you could have done.
I did, and no. So that's the entire amount I've played it, and I didn't feel like I did it justice. So you know.
But look, you became someone of like one of the people in a way. So you are very active on the social media. You are present. You are streaming sometimes. You are very strong on tweeting and redditing and so on.
Yeah.
How did that happen? How did you like intertwine so much with this project? Is that does that happen to other actors usually as well, or is that like a special thing, or how did you end up there?
From what I can tell and what the community have told me, like this is not something that most actors do when they're in a video game. They don't tend to engage as much as someone like myself, but it's a testament to the fans. I feel comfortable doing it. And I mean that. Like, I wouldn't do it if it wasn't fun. If I got any kind of, weird vibes, I would not do it. I would find it very weird and just step away. But because my interactions are always positive, everyone's so lovely, so warm, so welcoming to me, and so they seem to want more of it. So I stream, and I really enjoy the process, and I want to promote the game as much as I can because I love doing it, and hopefully that helps in some small way. So I see no downside.
And now that you are becoming a much more prominent character in the second game, you were also way more often in the studio, right? So
Yeah.
how do those sessions work? Are you alone, or do you? I mean, you are also doing the motion capture for hands, right, in the cutscenes.
Yeah.
So how does a regular day kind of look like if you come to the studio?
So very different between the motion capture and the voiceover. So in the motion capture, you're usually working with other actors, which is a great joy. And it's a little bit more demanding on your time. You're doing these long hours. But then when you get into the voiceover, it's you on your own, really. And the only thing I have to bounce off is sometimes Tom's lines, because it's usually Tom I'm working with. Tom's line will be played to me.
Tom McKay.
Tom McKay, Henry. His lines will be played to me if he's done them already, and then I can bounce off that and use it. But if he didn't do them already, it'll be one of the directors in the booth who will feed me a line. And so that's really it. I'm just me in a booth. So I much prefer the motion capture stage. Like, that's the first thing we do, and it's really fun because you're working with all these different actors doing your thing. Voiceover can be quite isolating, but it's still a really fun challenge. It's just not quite as fun as the motion capture.
But tell me about your story now. So, I mean, in the beginning, when was it when we reached out to you? Was it like 2016, 15, something like that?
So I flew out on February 1st, which was...
Yeah, 9 years ago, you said,
yeah,
right? That's
so
what?
literally 9 years ago, just the other day.
I can't do maths. That's like 16.
Yeah,
right?
2016.
Correct.
2016. I just left drama school, and I obviously sent this self-tape off as an audition, and then Vavra brought me out.
Was that your first video game?
Yes.
Now that you auditioned for this like backwater video game to some Czech Republic fools creating a game in Daniel Vavra's garage, did you tell me about that, like that arc kind of? Where did it start? Then we had the concert together where we did the autograph session where we had hundreds of people lining up wanting to have autographs with you, and now you're the star of the second game, one of the stars of the second game, and we are having this huge party here. Journalists want to talk to you, interviews are rolling in for you. So how does that feel?
Incredible, because it's the kind of trajectory you want for a project. It started off small, with great ambition and great, hopes and dreams for the future, and that's exactly what we've done. I mean, it just gets bigger and bigger every time. And I personally, and I think Tom would agree, we never thought we'd get to this point. We didn't think we'd be doing this 9 years later, and I'd be standing here. But that's because the fans have supported the project, and obviously the devs have stuck with it and worked really hard. So. It's a dream come true, as cliche as it sounds, but it is.
And if you would now thinking of the second game, what if I would ask you what's your favorite thing about the second game?
I'm not allowed to tell you, because if I tell you, I spoil one of the key quests, Toby, which you would
Oh, so
kill
your
me for.
favorite thing of the game is a specific.
There's a particular quest when people ask me what's your favorite part of the second game that I would say, but I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Lucky you, but you could tomorrow in 24 hours.
I
you
could,
can.
but I won't.
Luke, very much. Thank you very much for being with me. Thank you very
It's
much
my pleasure,
for
Tobes.
talking to the people. I would like to ask you, please, if you could sign all those 3 boxes.
Yes.
These collector's editions are then being auctioned away next week for a good cause. Yes, please. All 3. It's they look the same, but it's PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, and we will auction them away. I think next week. Don't nail me down on that. We will put this on social media. Don't worry. He even writes Hans there, just in case you don't know who Luke effing Dale is, the star of one of the stars. I don't want to make him too arrogant here. One of the stars of KCD2 signing those boxes. I absolutely think you guys will want to have those boxes. Luke, thanks again for being with me. Enjoy the party. Have a great day.
I love you.
Leave the wenches alone.
I'm going to go find the wenches. Bye.
No wenches, no bathhouse. Those come later. But not on camera, unfortunately. So, next is on my list. No one, because I overdid it. I need to go to the other page. Give me a second. Of course, how could I miss that? The next is Andrzej Bittner. Andrzej, come please. Hello, Andrzej, take my microphone. Andrzej Bittner, one of the designers of Kingdom Come Deliverance. But I will not ask you about designing because...
Great.
That would be a shame, right? Because you, when you are being asked by journalists, what's your favorite game? What's your favorite game? It's KCD, of course. What's your favorite part about KCD?
Yeah.
You always say the same. What is it?
It's the wandering through the landscape. That's why you brought me here.
Now, landscape is a big thing. We have 2 maps now, of course.
Yes.
How would you say, or what would you say, are the big differences between the second game and the first game? If you think of the maps generally, but then also between the first map and the second map, we have Trosetsko and Kutna Hora map.
Well, obviously we have 2 maps. Hooray! So that's a difference on its own. But I would say that the second map kind of has a third map, because the big urban sprawl of Gutenberg kind of deems itself as a, kind of unique location, and you need to have a lot of content in a city. So it's almost like we have 3 maps, and I would say that the first one is very much about secrets.
Trotsky, you mean? Around Trotsky.
Trosetsko,
with the big castle in the middle.
Big castle, that's great. The centerpiece, you can see it from anywhere. It's a dream of designers, because if you have a quest, get to the castle and you see the castle from all the map. You don't need a marker, so that's beautiful. And we have cliffs, and it's very secretive, full of secret location, Easter eggs, stuff like that.
Do you have a secret favorite Easter egg? And is it something you could say without not spoiling where it is, but what it is? Is that so that the people go out and look for it?
I've put a rogue quest into the game. It's in Gutenberg. It's sort of like geocaching game. So they didn't like it in production. Production didn't like that I'm doing rogue quest, but that's what we do. Yeah, so that's my favorite thing.
There's a lot of rogue stuff going on. The rogue cats in the game.
Rogue cats and a lot of the Easter eggs. We actually had to kind of tell to the guys, just chill down a little bit, because it started to be a bit overwhelming.
I hate the fact. I mean, I like the fact that there's a lot of Easter eggs. I hate the fact that no one tells me what those Easter eggs are.
That's why they're Easter eggs.
Yeah, but then how should I prepare?
Easter eggs. No one knows about them.
How should I prepare about the possible shitstorms?
You don't know. There's stuff you don't even want to know, Toby.
Oh God. Oh God. Going back to the map, so we have now the Trosetsko map, which you said is cliffy with a lot of secret and so on. How does it compare to the bigger map, the Kutna Hora map?
Well, Gutenberg is much more. It's quite contrast, because it's big open landscape with sparse forests, a lot of villages, and then obviously not in the middle, in the corner, there's sort of like crown jewel, the city itself, which is really magnificent.
That was a huge challenge to put in there, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously for environmental artists, a lot of work. But for me as a designer, the challenge was that when you tell the people medieval city, they think dark, alleys, crooked,
cutthroats everywhere.
Yeah. Mud everywhere. And if the city was planned, as a city to have wide streets, kind of going forward, so square city blocks. So it doesn't feel like the classical image of medieval city, but it's very, very, very well researched by our research team. If you go to Gutenberg today, you can still recognize a lot of the topography around.
And there's also kind of a lower town in a way, right? So there are the mines as well.
Yes, because the city was, the silver mines started in the city and then they moved in the game. They're already on the other hill. But because they were under the city, the whole thing is tunneled. So there are, secret accesses, and that's great for people like me because we love to put it there.
More Easter eggs.
More Easter eggs, yes.
Thank you very much, Andre. If you do me a favor, please sign those 3 boxes.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much for being with us. And again, those boxes will be auctioned out somewhere this week or next week or at some point soon and goes to a good cause. We will get much more signatures, of course, from the studio, from the devs. Myself, I should sign it as well. Maybe I do this at the end of the stream. How about that? I should have started with it. I will end with it. Isn't that nice? And Andre, as I said, designer of the studio, one designer. Thank you very much, Andre.
Thank you. Enjoy the game.
And you enjoy the party. One of the designers of the team, Quest Designers, but as I said, he is a huge fan of the countryside and the landscape, which you will be able to roam through and find hopefully all those Easter eggs. And I do hope that they are not as terrible as Andre was saying. Now, next on my list is the one and only Viktor Botsan. Please take this microphone. Hello, Viktor.
Hello, hello.
Viktor Botsan is the design director at Warhorse Studios, but that is nothing. That is probably not so important for you. What is important for you that he is the godfather of the combat system of Kingdom Come Deliverance, of the combat system in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 and 2. And we always said back in the days, it's easy to learn but hard to master. I think the hard to master we really nailed. The easy to learn not so much. What is
like
different?
in real life.
What's different now in the second game, and what are the improvements, and what can the people look forward to?
Well, everything is different. That's what took us so long to finish the game. But okay, the most important part maybe is that we really now want to, for you, be able to choose your fighting style. Like, the best combat style, of course, is not to fight at all. So you can avoid most of the fight. You can, in open world, you can always just, sneak around or you can...
And even the stealth kills were now are a little bit different now, right?
It's a little bit of gameplay in there, and it really is influenced high by RPG, but you can, if you are a very good player, you can get through it and stealth kill anyone if you want. And you don't need just to, stealth kill everyone. You can run over them with your horse. You can flee.
Of course.
You can just flee and then return. And when they are sleeping or when they are celebrating because you fled, then you stealth kill them.
Stealth kill all over the place. But even the unarmed combat was reworked quite a lot, right?
Well, everything was reworked. And now you actually, what weapon you choose is what combat style you will have. So you can fight with a sword and you will be this great best swordsman in the land, and you will uncover the layers of the combat. You will learn those special techniques, combos, master strike, all this fancy stuff, and you will never penetrate the enemy armor with your strikes, but you can get around and you can dance on the battlefield and slice through them. You can be this Miyamoto Musashi of medieval Bohemia.
Oh, God.
But if it's too hard for you or you don't just want to bother, you grab the strongest, heaviest mace or hammer you can find, and then you just, nail the enemies. It will not be that beautiful, but it will still be cool.
Tell me, how do the new additions work? We have the new gunpowder weapons, the crossbows. There's different weights as well. Is KCD a first-person shooter now, a medieval first-person shooter?
Not really. It's still realistic, so you have just one shot, but there is small, new, funny stuff that you actually can have up to 4 weapons equipped at the same time.
And that's amazing, right?
Yeah, and but if you put an armed firearm on your back, it stays armed, or loaded. So you can have another firearm loaded on your back, and then enemy comes, you shoot him, he smiles because you missed, and then you pull out another firearm and shoot him again to his smiling face, and that's it.
Is there any recommendation you would have for the people out there who are afraid of the combat because they didn't manage in the first game and now they are afraid that they will struggle with the second game?
Don't be. That's the most important advice. Don't be. It's really as you said, it's easy to learn, hard to master. It's still hard to master, and we tried to put another several layers of mastery in there, but it's much easier to get into. And as I said, if you are struggling, just grab a mace or an axe, and they are easy weapon, and you learn the basics, and you can stay like that, and you can finish the game with them. Or you can find out that you can, but it's not that hard, and you can then try a sword. Or those fists, as you were talking about. If you don't like weapons, you can go through the game with your bare hands, and you have, not just punches and kicks, you have just grappling move and throws and stuff like that. Even secret perk, which is not secret anymore, obviously, that you can, in the middle of the fist fight, you can just turn the enemy around, grab him,
and I got another stealth kill.
Yeah.
Victor, thank you very much for being with us. Please sign these boxes if you can. Thank you very much. Victor Botzan, the design director at Warhorse Studios, and as I said, responsible for the combat. And again, I think it's the single biggest feature that we were overworking in the game, which a lot of feedback came from you, actually, from the community out there. But also we talked to Lenka before. The animations got so much better, which makes it fluent, more fluent, more nicer. There's no more. Thank you very much, Victor. Not anymore this weird slow motion when you go into a perfect block. Everything is reworked, and you should like it. And since there's diverse sets of movements you can do, you will find your weapon and you will fight your playing style and fighting style in Kingdom Come Deliverance II. Okay, next on my list is the CEO of Warhorse Studios, Martin Friwalski. Another Martin. Please, Martin, come on the stage. Hello, Martin.
Hey.
So,
Hey.
not the founder of the studio, but the daddy of the studio in a way. So, you came to the studio. When was that exactly? When do you?
First time in 2013. So
2013.
It's a long time ago.
Long time ago. But you came from a different industry. Now joining the video game industry. Now you are an old man now. By old man I mean old in the industry.
I'm old in the industry.
10 years. Over 10 years in the industry. So how did you manage to keep those rascals all together? Because we have a very flat hierarchy structure. So how does it work in the studio so that everyone does what they're supposed to do and not branch out?
Good question, but it's important to say that back in 2013 or 14, this was 25 heads, big company. So it was a small team. Small kids, small issues, big kids, big issues. So all the smaller problems back in 2013, or problems, it's not problems, but you know what I mean, just a playground.
Yeah, but you said it. When you started, we were 25. Now we are more than 250, or around about 250.
Right.
So what do you think? What did change, you believe, between KCD 1 and KCD 2? I mean, from the perspective of the team, and where would you want to go from now on?
Well, I think the organization is more mature indeed. You basically, once you have 250 people in the team, it cannot be all the day, all the time, punk only. But the most challenging thing is just
organized punks now.
It's exactly organized punk. Absolutely.
So what did change now today?
Oh well, at least we have a couple of more producers. Right?
Absolutely. And we can have big parties.
Yeah, big parties, more producers, more systems, more procedures. It sounds like all the kind of things one do not want to see here, like processes and stuff like that. But it's important. That's what makes us that we are able to deliver the games sooner. By the way, 7 years.
Yeah.
But still,
Which leads me to the next question then, Captain. So today we have the release party. Tomorrow we have the release itself. What do we do the day after tomorrow? What's next on the agenda?
Well, the day after, I wouldn't mind if we do nothing. But
get filthy rich.
But day after, we start working again. And there are still DLCs coming, indeed. And there's plenty of them, and we would like to bring them to gamers throughout this year. So yeah, there's a lot of things on our plate.
And do you think that we will be growing even further as a team? Do you? What's our?
Yeah, it depends. It depends. We certainly will be growing. Now the question is whether in size or in competence. I think we will be certainly growing in competence because KCD2...
So exchanging me for someone who actually knows what he's
more
doing.
More competent.
Exactly.
No, I think that we are more afraid that someone will steal you from us.
Never gonna happen. Okay.
But as regards size, well, I think we are a pretty big team already.
But there's always room to grow. I think the studio grow, especially in expertise and experience. As you said, we were super punky with the first game. Now still kinda, but more organized punk. So let's see where this ship sails. Now, Martin, if I may ask, could you please sign those boxes as well?
Sure.
Thank you very much for being with me here on the wonderful blue carpet. Martin Friwalski, the CEO at Warhorse Studios. Longer than me in the studio. Who would have thought that? Well, he did. But yeah, as I said, I think what is important that Warhorse still keeps. Thank you very much, Martin. That Warhorse still keeps its spirit of we are doing what the heck we want to do, and the only people we will ask is you, the community, and that's it. Anyway, next on my list, a very cinematic moment, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, man.
Hello, Peter. Petr Pekař is our lead cinematic artist. And first of all, what's a lead cinematic artist?
Well, that's the guy that is leading the cinematic artist, obviously, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
it's
you,
in the name.
Absolutely. And you guys know that we have 5 hours of cutscenes in the game, which is, god damn it, a huge amount. So why? Why do we do that? What are cutscenes for?
What are cutscenes for? Well, normally cutscenes are the stuff that you skip in the game, right? So my job...
No.
My job as a cinematic lead is to make sure that people are not skipping the cutscenes. So we are making these kind of cutscenes.
Now, but now in all seriousness, going through the previews, the people were again praising how amazing the game is, of course, but they were also saying that we stepped up the game with the cutscenes, that they are deeper, nicer, more intricate, more complex even, and that they are very emotional and very humorous at the same time. So is there anything we did particularly different to the first game? And if so, why can we do this now and couldn't do before?
Well, obviously we got much more time than in the first game, right? And we got a much bigger team, so we managed to do much more work than we did in the first game. And like, I don't know, the technology is awesome and the writing was awesome. It really just all came together in the end.
But you know the game inside out because, of course, you supervise the cutscenes. Can you still enjoy the game? Can you still play it? Is there... Are you where do you take your joy from? Is it more like playing yourself or watching others reacting to cutscenes or the game, or what would you say?
Well, even though we've got 5 hours of cutscenes, it's literally just like 5% of the game, right? So from the top to bottom, I know just the 5, maybe 10% of the game. So when I'm playing the game, I'm playing the rest that I don't know, and this is what I enjoy the most. So yeah, but even though when I see the cutscenes implemented and coming together with the gameplay and how it blends together, I see that it works, and it kind of makes me happy that in the end it all kind of clicked together and it works as a whole, you know.
In the first game, we just recently released the video that you guys also did, the recapping of the first game. And we can see that in most cutscenes, Henry is alone, right? And generally in the entire story, most of the time in KCD1, Henry is alone. And now in KCD2, Henry is part of a much bigger team, of a much bigger group. What would you say is now, like, feeling-wise and content-wise different in the second game towards the first game? Like, is it darker, more humorous, or everything?
Well, first of all, it's much bigger, right? There's much more actors, much more characters. The sieges are great. The battle scenes, there are much more battle scenes than were before. So, I mean, everything is bigger and everything is kind of more mature and complicated and darker, you know, because the original story was straightforward revenge story. Now it's much more complicated, branching story about the effects of war and psychology and this kind of stuff.
I like this a lot because Henry now has to go through those inner conflicts. He will have those oh, this will be managing. I don't want to spoil it. No spoilers, but he's going through all those moments, and you as a player will then ask your conscience even what's going on there. Is there anything in particular you would say is your favorite thing about KCD if you have to narrow it down to something?
You mean in general? Well, obvious answer to this question is the reactiveness and the RPG and the leveling system, right? But me personally, what I really like is the sound design, because sometimes, and even though I love Jan Walta's music as much as everybody else, sometimes I just mute the music and kind of immerse myself into the forest, you know, listening to the birds chirping and to the atmosphere and listening to the people around, listening to your plate armor just scraping while you are walking, and it really sounds great. It helps you immerse in a way that I don't remember any other game that is doing it in so much depth than we are.
Agree. And Roxy Sexy Biscuit just released a video not long ago about about this. So I absolutely agree with you. Pepe, if I could ask you please to sign those 3 boxes. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank
Peter.
you. Thank you.
So Petr Pekař, or Pepe, how we call him, lead. All 3 of those. Lead cinematic artist of Kingdom Come Deliverance II. He was already working on the first game. But leading was something that he managed to for the second installment, so that's quite cool. And again, judging from the previews I saw from the YouTube and media and so on, I again think that the cutscenes in KCD2 are amazing, and they convey emotion or something. Thank you very much, Peter. Take care. They convey or tell you or show you an emotion, something that the game itself maybe can't. So it's nice to have them, and they're all skippable if you want to. Next on my list is a wonderful person you should absolutely know. The one and only Tom McKay, a.k.a. Henry of Skeleton. Thank you for coming.
Not at all. How are you doing?
I'm living the dream. How are you doing?
You're doing amazingly. I've stood over there for 20 minutes watching Toby do this, and I just want to tip my hat to this man because he has so much energy. He has been all around the world before Christmas, and he's still going. So I just want to salute this man. We have to stand here for 10 minutes. He's been here for what, over an hour at this point already?
Yeah, but
so well done, Toby.
The community is much more here. Well, they endure more than I, because they have to go through all this and listen to
sorry about that, everybody.
my weird talking. But Martin Friwalski was here earlier, and they said they will, now that we are becoming the big boys, they will exchange me for someone who actually knows what he's doing.
Absolutely not. You know what you're doing better than anybody. So no, we couldn't do any of this without you, and you know that.
I have to ask you, because the chat would be very mad if I wouldn't. Do you feel quite hungry?
Do you know, I actually do feel quite hungry. But there's plenty of time.
Because there's a big buffet there, so feel free to choose whoever you want. Fill your pockets, because you might need it for the next quest.
Be careful what you wish for. I will take all the food with me.
Tom, let's talk about the game. So you started with us in also, what was it, 2015, 16, somewhere there, right?
Yeah, about there. We were trying to work it out, and we can't remember exactly, but yes, a long time ago.
And also back then, it was for you, probably some backwater developers from who knows where asking you, hey, could you do this video game for us? So tell us about the story between now and 10 years back.
It's been an amazing journey. I think nothing felt backwater or small to me. Everybody clearly knew what they were doing. But in terms of what it was, my understanding of gaming and what the game was going to be, I don't think anybody even in the studio knew exactly what that game was going to be. And I knew about the Kickstarter campaign, and it just had this really kind of authentic, energetic, creatively brilliant heart and soul, which it still has. And I know, that's not a marketing statement, that it absolutely has held on to that kind of slightly punky, brilliant, punchy, authentic identity that it had right from the very first day when I met you, and I met Dan, and I met lovely Katka, who is a bit like Toby. She doesn't work at the studio anymore, but she worked in production, and she
less bearded, right?
Less bearded, but no less energetic and lovely. And she kept the wheels going on production. And we basically, I started to get a sense that these were people that really cared about what they were making and that it had the potential to be brilliant. Obviously, we didn't know whether or not that would be the case, and it was the case with KCD1, and hopefully, I think it will be the case with KCD2.
Is there a line you particularly like or particularly hate from your recording sessions?
There's no lines that I mean, I love all the lines, to be honest, is the short version. Obviously, I Feel Quite Hungry is a particular favourite. The lines that I like less would be the herb lines, because I've said this before, but we spent a whole morning doing various iterations of the herb lines, and let me tell you, there's a lot of herbs in the new games. So that was quite a long morning, more for the sound designers, I think, than for me.
Is there anything, if you think now on the game, I mean, we of course, without spoilers, obviously, but is there something you particularly are fond of about KCD? It doesn't have to be KCD2, but generally, is there something you would... Why is it a standout project in your eyes?
From a personal perspective, selfishly speaking, it's definitely my character.
You did great. I did amazing.
No, I love this. I love the character. By the way, it's not what I did with it. It's what they wrote. It's what they put together and what they've done afterwards. But I feel like it's such a brilliantly three-dimensional kind of rich role, and that has only become more the case in KCD2. It can be. It's kind of massive animal of a role, and where he started in terms of his family. I talked a little bit the other day about having lost my dad a long time ago, and obviously the death of his parents is like a very big kind of engine of the story. And so from a personal perspective, inevitably, who he is and the journeys that you can take him on I just feel incredibly proud of and attached to.
Tom McKay, everyone, thank you very much for being with me.
Not at all. Can I, before I head off, am I heading off?
Yeah, you're heading off.
I do want to, one thing I will say. One thing I will, yeah, okay. No, I do want to say very quickly, actually, in terms of like the things that I feel attached to and that I think are important. We've said this a million times, but it's true. The community behind this game, who are people that came from the very beginning with the Kickstarter
talking about
campaign.
you.
It's true. I really am talking about you, and it's from the heart. But I think it was a smaller community when we started. Some of you backed the Kickstarter campaign. Those people are still around. That community has grown massively, and I think there literally would be no game without those people. And that's not marketing spin. No one has told me to say this. That is very, very much
Wait,
true.
let me check it.
Did I get it right?
No, I didn't.
Oh, shit, sorry.
I didn't write that down.
No, genuinely. I mean that very, very genuinely. There would be no game without you guys. So thank you for your support, and I really hope we've done you proud.
And before you go, can you please do me the favor and sign those 3 boxes, please?
I certainly can.
Thank you very much, Tom. Tom McKay, the actor of Henry. Well, you know him. He feels quite hungry often. He calls his ma when he's injured, but he also shouts, "I feel quite hungry," when he's attacking bad guys. And there's quite a lot of bad guys in KCD2. While, as I said, for the most of the time in the first game, he was on his own. Now he will be part of that gang, which you will see tomorrow. But that gang, think of it a bit like Red Dead Redemption, kind of, the camp situation thing. That's where good old Henry has to go through, where you have to go through. Tom, thank you very much. Enjoy the party.
Have a good night.
And, well, I will have an amazing night. You have an amazing night because you can be with me here. But it is, what is it? It's 9 minutes before I have to close down this interview. So who else than the man himself, the enfant terrible, the one everyone loves and many don't, but I do. So, Dan Wawra, again, founder of Warhorse Studios. Hello, Dan.
Hello.
With the studio for my handkerchief. With the studio for such a long time. I was asking Martin Klima earlier, like if he was thinking that we will have this kind of success when you guys started, and he said I didn't, but Dan definitely did. So is that true?
Yes.
So KCD2 is now here. What do you think about the project? Is that the thing that we wanted to do? Is that are we missing out something? How do you feel about the release tomorrow?
It is what we wanted to do. In some aspects, it's more than we wanted to do. In some, it's less. There are some things that we didn't manage to achieve. But generally, yeah, it's what we wanted to achieve. It took us longer than we expected, but
of course,
it's now better than we expected, at least from the perspective of the people who already played it and journalists and all that.
I haven't seen the reviews. Don't tell me. I don't know.
You didn't?
No, I have. I started at 5 when the reviews came in, so I have absolutely no idea. But Dan, if you have to think now on this project, what makes KCD a KCD? If you think about it, what is so special about it? Why do so many people like it? Obviously,
because they don't make games like this anymore. Well, it's a little bit overstatement, but And it's an experience that lets you live through natural story that has all the aspects of life and gives you a lot of freedom, and at the same time hopefully it's well made regarding the graphics and everything. So it's an ideal combination, I would say.
In the announcement when we did in the St. Barbara's church, you said that that's the game we always wanted to do. Do you still feel like this, or is that?
Yeah, it's well, it's almost the original vision. So when you think about something, you have it in the head. You dream how will it look in the end, and then you are trying to get close to this vision. And of course,
and we
there
sabotage
are a lot of different obstacles and problems and issues and restrictions. And then with the sequel, you can make it even more, and if possibly with another game, you can do even more and even more. So we can constantly upgrade. And now we had so much time and resources that we can polish almost everything to the state we wanted.
And at least from the previews, I can say that the people really appreciate the technical state of the game, plus the additions. They felt like it's someone said, I think it's like an action movie that keeps on giving. Tell me, what is your favorite thing? Now, you of course, the game as a whole, I guess, but what's the one thing you would say, this I'm super proud of that's in the game?
I would say that it's overall kind of mood of it. It's like that
the immersion or something?
Yeah, I would say that, you just go there, and there's not much that would kind of drag you away from the experience. It simply works all together. There is enough stuff to do, and it feels kind of natural. So that for me is, and it seems that people really enjoy this way. People are just walking around the world and looking at stuff, talking to people, and they enjoy just this without an actual quest or combat or anything. So that's cool.
This is true. I read this also in a preview that someone ventured out or sat at the PC, fired up the game, and said, okay, what's my adventure today? What am I going to do? Today I'm going to do a side quest. So they walk somewhere, but then they meet this random encounter, and that drags them to a 2-hour quest somewhere deep in the forest. So I think that's also a very big beauty of the game, that you can really like delve into this. It's definitely not a game for like quick gaming. You just don't fire it up, play it for 10 minutes and then go. That's not the kind you sit down, relax, and enjoy it. But I think the overall thing is absolutely worth it. And tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central European time, you wherever you sit, count it or translate it into your time zone. The game releases. Will you check? What will you do? Will you fire up streams, or will you turn off all your cell phone or like media?
I guess that a lot of people already are posting video reviews right now, I guess.
Which I still haven't seen.
So I will probably watching them. I'm checking, like, to be honest, I'm checking the stuff for last 2 weeks. And so basically doing not doing anything else. So and looking at the sales numbers and stuff like that.
But Hello Kitty got us for quite a while.
Yeah.
Hello Kitty. Anyway, Daniel Vavra, thank you very much. Could you do me a favor? Could you please sign those 3 boxes? Because those will then be auctioned away for a good cause. As I mentioned several times already, we will do this next week at some point. So hang in there with us. And as I said, Daniel Vavra, founder of the studio, actually, for those out there, Kingdom Come Deliverance, or the idea of Kingdom Come Deliverance, exists longer than the studio itself. So Dan had the idea, hey, I want to do that game, which was called differently in the beginning, Hammerhead. Luckily, he changed his mind there, Hammerheart, I think. So he had the idea first and then tried to find the right fighters along. He started the studio with Viktor Botsan, the guy with the hat, and Martin Klima. And there were 3 at the beginning, and now there are 250. So thank you very much, Daniel. Enjoy the party. And this was it. I will leave now this to my assistant here. That was the Blue Carpet stream, the last dev stream of our streams we are doing now. Don't forget, there are the collector's editions. I have to sign it as well, right? Next week, I will do this now. Maybe off stream, maybe on stream, I don't know. But again, thank you very much for being with us, for coming all along with us, for those who were at the Kickstarter in 2014, who came in later with the first game, who came in maybe now with the second game. Thank you for spreading the love. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for just being a great bunch, a great community that I can tell you because I know other game devs and other studios, they envy us for having you among us because you are just amazing and that is a great thing. Right? I will sign this bad boy now as well. Just make it nice. Here, right in the middle. Toby. The biggest signature for the biggest talking mouth. Oh no, it's taken already. Toby. And occupied here. Toby. I don't know if you can still see me, but now I'm back. Okie dokie. As I said, that was our 5th dev stream, I think, right? 4 times gaming. Now the last time, the night before the release, directly from the blue carpet, which you can't see, from the release party of Kingdom Come Deliverance. It's releasing in, what's now, 6:30 our time. So it's like 22 and a half hours. It will release tomorrow on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. If you want any of those pre-order DLCs thingies, then now is your last chance because tomorrow there's no time to pre-order anymore. But if you don't want to pre-order, don't do it because whatever, just buy it once you feel like it. Okay? So again, thank you very much for being with us. I'm out, Audentis Fortuna Juat, stay medieval, and see you in Bohemia 1403. Take care.